My name is Rebecca Hayes. I'm 55 years old. And for most of my married life, I believed I had a family that loved me. I was wrong. I met my husband, Michael, when I was 27. He was kind, charming, and came from a very close-knit family. At least that's what I thought. His parents welcomed me with smiles. His sister treated me like a friend. And for years, I tried my best to fit in. To be the perfect wife. The perfect daughter-in-law. Michael and I built our life together slowly. We didn't have much in the beginning, but we worked hard, saved every dollar, made sacrifices, and eventually, we bought a house. A beautiful 2-story home in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't just a house. It was everything we had worked for. But there was something I never told his family. Something Michael and I agreed to keep private. A house was in my name. Not because I demanded it, but because at the time, Michael had financial issues. And it was simply easier this way. We trusted each other, so it never felt important. Years passed, life settled, until one night, everything changed. Michael didn't come home. First, I thought he was working late. Then my phone rang. An unknown number. A call changed my life forever. There had been an accident, and just like that, Michael was gone. The days that followed were a blur. Funeral arrangements, visitors, endless condolences. I could barely think, barely breathe. And his family. First, they seemed supportive. They stayed close. Too close. They started coming over every day. Bringing food. Sitting in the living room. Talking in hushed voices. First, I thought it was love. But slowly, I started to notice something else. Control. His mother began making decisions. Rearranging things in my house. Inviting relatives. Without asking. His sister started going through paperwork. Bills. Documents. I told myself. They were grieving. Just like me. But then, one evening, everything shifted. We were all sitting in the living room. The air felt heavy. Uncomfortable. His mother looked at me and sighed. "Rebecca," she said slowly. "I think it's time we talk about the future." I nodded, confused. "What do you mean?" She exchanged a glance with his sister, then said something I never expected. "This house, it should stay in the family." And blinked. "I am family." Her expression hardened. "You're his wife, but Michael is gone now." My heart dropped. His sister leaned forward. "We think it's best if you move out." For a moment, I thought I misheard. "Move out?" I repeated. "Yes," she said calmly. "We'll take care of the house from now on." Take care of it. I looked around. At the walls I painted. The kitchen I built. The life I created. And they were telling me to leave. I felt something rising inside me. Not panic. Not even anger. Clarity. I stood up slowly. Looked at both of them. And said quietly, "No." They were surprised. His mother frowned. "Rebecca, don't make this difficult." I let out a small breath. Then said something they weren't expecting. "This house isn't Michael's." Silence. "It's mine." They stared at me, confused. I walked to the drawer, pulled out a folder, and placed it on the table. Inside were the property papers. Name. Only mine. His sister grabbed them quickly. Reading. Her face changing. "That's not possible," she said. But it was. His mother's expression turned cold. "You're lying." I shook my head. "I'm not." The room went silent. Everything shifted in that moment. The power they thought they had disappeared. "This is my home," I said calmly. "And I'm not going anywhere." For the first time, they had nothing to say. But that didn't stop them. The next few days, they tried everything. Guilt, pressure, anger. "You're being selfish. You're taking what belongs to the family." Michael wouldn't have wanted this. But I stayed calm. 'Cause for the first time, I wasn't trying to please them. I was protecting myself. One afternoon, his mother showed up again. This time louder. More aggressive. You need to leave, she snapped. This is not your place anymore. I walked to the door, opened it, and said one simple thing. You need to leave. She froze. This is my house. And then, closed the door. That was the last time they tried. Weeks passed. The house felt different, quieter, but also peaceful. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. I wasn't trying to be accepted. I was just me. I started rebuilding my life, slowly, on my own terms, and I realized something important. Family isn't just about who you marry into. It's about who respects you, who stands by you, who sees your worth. And sometimes, the people you thought were family never really were. If I had stayed silent that day, if I had given in, I would have lost everything, not just my home, but myself. So if you ever find yourself in a place where people try to take what's yours, or make you feel like you don't belong, remember this. You don't have to fight loudly to stand strong. Sometimes, one calm no is enough to change everything. If this story resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to Revenge Chronicles for more powerful and emotional stories. 'Cause sometimes, the biggest strength is simply knowing your worth.